Somewhere right now, a man just walked out of a luxury boutique with an $18,000 watch that has the same movement inside it as a watch selling for $1,100 3 stores down. The salesman shook his hand. The receipt went in his wallet. He walked out feeling like he'd bought something serious. He didn't. He bought the logo. The watch industry has spent decades convincing men that the price on the tag matches the watch on the strap. Once you understand the supply chain, you understand that's not how any of this works. 5 brands are actively robbing men blind at every price point in the luxury market, and 5 brands are quietly doing the opposite, building watches so honestly that the men who wear them can defend the purchase to anyone in the room. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which side of that line the watch on your wrist is on. Let's start with the brand. Every collector on earth quietly agrees is the biggest offender. Number 5. Robbing you blind. The Hublot Big Bang. The Big Bang starts at $14,000 for steel and climbs past $25,000 for the gold and ceramic variants. The marketing sells the case design, the layered construction, the H-shaped screws, the styling Hublot calls the art of fusion. Now look at what's inside. The mainline Big Bang runs the Hub 1280 movement. Strip the Hublot decoration off the rotor and check the architecture. The base is a Celita SW300, or modified ETA caliber, the same architectural family used in watches retailing between $1,000 and $1,500. Christopher Ward uses Celita. Oris uses Celita. Longines uses Celita. Every one of those brands sells at a fraction of the Big Bang price with the same movement inside. The buyer paying $18,000 for a Big Bang steel paid roughly $1,000 for the movement and $17,000 for the case and the brand name. When collectors see a Big Bang at a restaurant, they read one specific thing. This is a man who wanted the most expensive-looking watch in the boutique and didn't ask what was inside it. The Big Bang tells the wearer he spent big money. It tells everyone else in the room that he paid for the packaging. Number 4. Robbing you blind. Movado Museum Classic. The Movado Museum is one of the most instantly recognizable watch designs ever created. Single dot at 12 o'clock. Clean dial. No numerals. Retail. Around $695. Look at the movement. The Movado Museum Classic runs a Ronda quartz caliber. Ronda is a Swiss quartz movement manufacturer whose modules retail to watch companies for $8 to $15 per unit. The same Ronda movement is inside watches selling for $80 from unbranded factories. Movado charges $695 for a watch built around a $15 movement. The premium exists to pay for the museum collection marketing and the 12 o'clock dot design copyright. A man wearing a Movado to a work event is wearing an $80 watch dressed up in a $600 case. Every serious watch buyer at the meeting recognizes the movement type from the second-hand's rhythm. Quartz ticks in 1-second increments, mechanical sweeps. The recognition happens in 3 seconds. The judgment lasts the whole meeting. Number 3. Robbing you blind. Tag Heuer Connected. The luxury smartwatch line that quietly died and nobody at Tag Heuer wants to admit it. Tag Heuer launched the Connected in 2015 to compete with the Apple Watch. The pricing reflected the ambition. Connected watches retailed between $1,800 and $2,800. The line runs Google Wear OS, the same operating system on Fossil smartwatches, at $200 to $400. Same processor family, same screen technology, same battery limitations. The Tag Heuer logo on the dial added roughly $1,500 to a smartwatch that was functionally identical to a $300 model from a different manufacturer. By 2022, Tag Heuer had quietly stopped releasing new generations at any regular cadence. The 2024 Connected E4 still ships and still works. The software already lags the current Apple Watch and Samsung Galaxy Watch, devices that cost a third of the price and update for longer. The buyer who paid $2,500 for a Connected in 2020 is now wearing a smartwatch that's already obsolete by 2026 standards. The mechanical Tag Heuer Carrera from the same era still keeps perfect time. The smartwatch sitting next to it in the drawer cannot run a current app. A watch with a battery isn't the same thing as a watch with a movement. Tag knew this. The buyer didn't. Number 2. Robbing you blind. Michael Kors. Read this carefully. Michael Kors is a handbag brand. The watches Michael Kors sells at $250 to $400 are licensed products manufactured by Fossil Group. Same movements as the Fossil watches on the shelf next to them. Same case construction. Same quartz architecture. Different logo. Higher markup. A man in his 30s wearing a Michael Kors watch to a work event is wearing his sister's fashion brand on his wrist. Not because Michael Kors makes bad watches, because Michael Kors is a fashion designer known for women's accessories, and the watch signals that the wearer bought whatever the mall department store told him to buy without asking a single question. The correct question was, who actually manufactures this movement? The answer is Fossil, at a total unit cost of under $15. Michael Kors added the logo and tripled the price. Number 1. Robbing You Blind. Invicta Pro Diver. The Rolex Submariner copy that has become an internet meme. Invicta is a Swiss brand founded in 1837 that went bankrupt, was purchased by an American holding company in 1991, and now operates primarily out of Hollywood, Florida. The Pro Diver is their flagship. Retail price varies wildly, sometimes $500, sometimes $89. Same watch, same case, same movement, same finish. Anyone who has watched a single hour of watch content on YouTube can identify an Invicta Pro Diver from across a room. The proportions are wrong. The bezel doesn't align. The steel takes fingerprints like a display model. The clasp rattles. The man wearing an Invicta to a meeting in 2026 is wearing the watch that watch collectors have made into a meme for a decade. The room isn't just deciding he doesn't know watches. The room is deciding he doesn't know that he doesn't know. That's the hardest read on this list to recover from. Comment your current watch in the section below. Subscribe if you want more breakdowns like this. Now let me show you the 5 brands doing the exact opposite. Number 5, worth every dollar, the Seiko SBDC159. Reddit's favorite sleeper dive watch of the last 4 years. Seiko was founded in Tokyo in 1881. The SBDC49 is a modern reissue of the 1968 Seiko 6159-7000, one of the most respected vintage dive watches in Japanese watchmaking history. 40mm steel case, 200-meter water resistance, sapphire crystal. Seiko 6R35 in-house automatic movement with 70-hour power reserve. Retail, $500. The SBDC159 delivers construction and finishing that Reddit collectors consistently rank above dive watches, selling at 3 times the price. The case shape traces to a 1968 design Seiko has been perfecting for nearly 6 decades. The dial is finished to a standard Grand Seiko trained the watchmakers to hit. A man wearing the SBDC159 to a dinner is wearing the watch the online collector community has spent 4 years quietly telling each other about. The recognition happens across the table. No one asks. Every collector already knows. Number 4, worth every dollar. The Christopher Ward C60 Trident. The British direct-to-consumer brand that quietly broke the Swiss watch pricing structure. Christopher Ward was founded in 2004 in Maidenhead, England. The pitch was simple: sell Swiss-made watches directly to the customer, with no retail middleman, no dealer markup, no luxury boutique on Champs-Élysées. The savings pass to the customer. The C60 Trident Pro 300 uses a Sellita SW200 movement, 600-meter water resistance, sapphire crystal, ceramic bezel, full Swiss assembly. Retail, around $1,100. A comparable Swiss dive watch from a traditional heritage brand with the same specifications retails between $3,500 and $5,000. Same movement supplier, same case construction, same water resistance. The traditional brand charges the extra $3,000 for the storefront in Geneva. The Christopher Ward wearer walks into the same room as the TAG Heuer Aquaracer wearer and sits across from him with the same Swiss movement, the same water resistance, the same finishing standard, at 1/4 the price. The collector at the next table sees this. The collector knows. Number 3, worth every dollar, the Grand Seiko Snowflake. The watch that quietly ends the argument about whether Japan can match Switzerland. Grand Seiko was founded in 1960 as a separate division of Seiko with one explicit directive: build the finest wristwatches in the world. Beat the Swiss at their own game. The Snowflake reference SBGA211 launched in 2010. The dial is inspired by fresh snow on Mount Iwate, visible from the Shizukuishi studio, where the watch is assembled. The finishing on that dial uses hand-applied techniques the Swiss industry has not been able to replicate at any price. The spring drive movement inside is a hybrid mechanical quartz caliber developed by Grand Seiko over 28 years that achieves accuracy of ±1 second per day. A Rolex Submariner is COSC certified at ±2 seconds per day. The Snowflake is twice as accurate as the most famous luxury watch in the world. Retail, $6,500. The Snowflake tells the collector across the room one thing: this man does not follow the crowd. The crowd is on Rolex waitlists. The crowd is paying gray market premiums for watches, keeping worse time than the Japanese watch on his wrist. Number 2, worth every dollar, the Tudor Black Bay 58. The watch that proved you don't need to buy a Rolex to wear one. Tudor was founded in 1926 by Hans Wilsdorf, the founder of Rolex, as a separate brand at lower price points using Rolex-grade manufacturing. The Black Bay 58 was released in 2018 and became the watch that defined what accessible luxury actually looks like. 39mm steel case in 316L stainless. In-house manufacture caliber MT5402 movement. Cost chronometer certified. 70-hour power reserve. Built in Geneva, alongside Rolex production. Retail, $4,150. A Rolex Submariner with comparable specifications retails at $9,150 at M-Serpi and trades at $15,000 to $20,000 on the gray market because of multi-year waitlists. The Black Bay 58 has no waitlist. Same case quality. Same movement finishing, same brand family. The Black Bay 58 doesn't say the wearer couldn't afford a Rolex. It says he understood what a Rolex actually is before he bought one. Number 1, worth every dollar, the Cartier Tank Must. The watch Cartier built to save its own entry-level relevance. Cartier launched the tank in 1917. Designed by Louis Cartier, inspired by the Renault FT tank that won World War I for the Allies, the tank became the most copied watch design in the 20th century. Andy Warhol wore one. Jackie Kennedy wore one. Princess Diana wore one. Steve Jobs introduced the iPhone wearing a Tank Louis Cartier. In 2021, Cartier brought back the Tank Must, the affordable steel version of the legendary tank. Quartz movement, steel case, genuine Cartier dial finishing, made in Switzerland to Cartier specifications. Retail, $2,900. The Tank Must is a real Cartier, not a licensed product, not a fashion partnership, not a smartwatch with a logo. Made by Cartier, finished by Cartier, sold by Cartier, designed off the original 1917 specification that defined what a rectangular wristwatch actually is. A Hublot Big Bang, at $18,000, buys the buyer a Celita movement in extravagant casework. A Cartier Tank Must at $2,900 buys the buyer 109 years of design heritage, chosen by French royalty, American presidents, and the founder of Apple. That's the entire difference between paying for a watch and paying for a story about a watch. 10 watches, 2 categories. 1 question the buyer either asked or didn't. The 5 brands robbing men blind share exactly one thing. Every one of them charges a premium that has nothing to do with what's inside the watch. The movement is generic. The case is generic. The finishing is average. The price is the marketing. The 5 brands worth every dollar share the opposite. Every one of them charges a price that corresponds to what's actually on the wrist. In-house movements, hand-finished cases, design heritage, manufacturing precision. The premium is the watch. The men who wear the first list learned about watches from advertisements. The men who wear the second list learned about watches from other collectors. Only one of those groups is right about what they bought. Comment the watch on your wrist right now. We'll tell you which list it belongs on, and whether the room has been reading you differently than you thought. Subscribe. Next video coming soon. Some men buy the watch. Others buy the story around it.